So that was a huge win for Fresno State at Boise State. And I'll go over the standings real quick to show you why. In first place, San Diego State is undefeated at 4-0. Boise's right behind them at 4-1. And then a bunch of teams are in third place with the Bulldogs with 2 losses. Fresno State, Hawaii, New Mexico, UNLV, Utah State, San Jose State. So I said in the last video that if the Bulldogs win, they have a really good chance, if not a certainty, of making the title rematch against San Diego State. And they really have a shot to do it. They have tiebreakers over Hawaii. If Boise, if they lose to San Diego, which I believe they will, they play Utah State. They play San Jose State. So yes, they control their own destiny in a lot of ways. Now let's get to the stats here real quick about the game at Boise. Fresno State had 224 yards. Boise State had just around 190. Passing yards, of course, huge difference. 35 for Conklin, 102 for Boise. Penalty yards, that was just, both of them had shitload of penalties. 56 yards for Fresno State, 94 for Boise. Time possession was Bulldogs led by about 33 to 26. Rushing yards is the difference, 189 yards, 91 for Boise, long turnovers, and we really saw a lot of what Matt Entz wants to do for a whole game against the real caliber type opponent. I'm not going to count Southern. Bulldogs could have done whatever they wanted to Southern. And we also saw, I think, in a lot of ways, why Conklin got the nod now over EJ. I know people are going to say, I've heard a few of the hosts on the Fisher Fresno State postgame shows say, oh, Warner would have done a better job and so forth. Warner would have made a lot of mistakes that could have cost him this football game. Ant said afterwards that Conklin made some pretty checks at the offensive line, and he really didn't do anything to cost his football team in the type of game that it was. All right? And he would have had more yards if there weren't a bunch of drops. So I'm pleased with his performance. I don't see any reason why they'll go back to E.J. Warner. We know what EJ is. We know he's going to make a lot of turnovers. We know that teams don't fear him. They might fear Conklin. And Conklin just played the 2 toughest defenses in the Mountain West. So after the bye week, we'll see how he looks. Of course, the real winner was the defense. They were outstanding. I said earlier that I don't think it would have made any difference if the regular Bronco quarterback stayed in. And I really do believe it. Offensive line, I want to give them credit for this as well. They did not allow a sack for the first time since Oregon State, and that's just the first time all year. This is also the first time we won a game winning a coin toss. That is kind of weird, but, let's just see what happens. Simeon, he got the nod for Mountain West Player of the Week, and he got 2 turnovers, an interception, forced a fumble that Jack recovered. He's actually, Tyrus Kavavi got his first career interception. The Bulldog defense is just flat out kicking Bronco butt. I don't think it would have made any difference whatsoever for that reason. It was a dominant performance by them. They were in control the whole game. That's really not something you could say against Boise very much. We just snapped the nation's 16th home game winning streak. They were tied for Alabama. We hadn't beaten them like that since they had a green field in 1996, and we won 41-7. Any way you slice it, it was a great day for the Bulldogs. And if they play like they did against Boise defensively, they should win those 3 games. But that's the thing, one game, one shot, one roll of the dice. Gotta execute. Gotta keep winning. You'll face a Wyoming team that has a good defense that will have that extra zing of trying to get one over you before you leave them behind. You face Utah State. Bronco Mendenhall is going to have a good team, and then you go to the road to San Jose State. Don't know what that'll be like, so it will be tough for the Bulldogs. No question about it. They have to execute. But we know they're capable of beating these teams now. All right, now on the basketball. The 2 basketball teams play tonight. The women's team, actually, they both won against Fresno Pacific, and you really can't tell a lot about it. Fresno Pacific is at the lowest level of NCAA competition. They just joined it a few weeks ago, so you really can't tell a lot. But here's my takeaway. The women won 87-38, and a style of play that was very different from Jamie White. I think that if you're a big basketball fan and you like the Targaryen style of play, you will like this women's basketball team. They face their first real peer competition this Friday at Bakersfield. That's at 6:30 if you want to watch that. On the men's side, they dominated as well, 81-51. And what's most notable about that team is how many new players they have from last year. Zane Collins, he's the only player back from last year. There were a couple of players you would have liked to keep, but I think a fresh start was good for everybody involved. We know what kind of offense Vance Wahlberg wants to run. We've seen it in high school. We've seen it in Alabama. We know what he wants to do, so that's really not a mystery. They scored 56 points in the paint. They managed to get 40 points from the bench, from 6 players off the bench. That's really different from last year. Last year we had a really thin roster, so we saw an improvement from that. I think, though, the big thing we can see this year is that Jake Heidenbritter is going to be the heart and soul of this team. As he goes, they go. Not necessarily in terms of the shooting, although they need him to shoot. It's how he directs that team and how he controls it. He is clearly the leader. Now, there were also other highlights. New guy, Deshaun Gorey, he got his first career start. He had a first opening moment. Wahlberg, he was very pleased with how they did in this game when he did a post-game show with the coaches. I mean, the Bulldogs dominated. They did what they should do. They shot 59% from the floor, and they 28% from three-point range, 17 out of 28 free throws. We saw what a Wahlberg team would look like if it goes right. All right? But it was an exhibition for Fresno Pacific for a reason. It really was. I mean, you can't really learn a lot from this game. You really can't. The men are going to play, I guess you could say, quote-unquote, another competition this Wednesday at 6 p.m. against a team that I've never heard of, UC Upton. I guess it's in South Carolina. That's another team that they should win. Let me remind you all of the schedule again real quick, just to get you to what they should look like. Then this Saturday at November 8th, they play Long Beach State at home. Then they play UC San Diego at home next Wednesday. Utah Valley Saturday 15th. Stephen F. Austin and New Orleans. All those are at home. They should finish at least, with 2 losses. Okay, and even that would probably be unacceptable. 1 loss for sure. Then they go to Pepperdine, or they're playing them somewhere, I don't know where. So, look, the only team that you can say they don't have a chance against in this home schedule, or this out-of-conference schedule, is Arkansas on the 6th. All right? Outside of that, I think you can only have 2 losses at most would be acceptable. So, we don't know much about this team. We're going to find out as it goes along. I don't think we'll really know anything about them this week. We'll find out more when they play Long Beach State on Saturday. But even that is a stretch because they're bad. UC San Diego is probably when we're going to start finding out what they look like against competition. But again, it's a good start. You want to be 1-0. It's a fun start. But, it's better than losing. Boise lost to their team, Fresno Pacific rival tonight as well. I mean, I don't know what it was, but it was a really bad night to be a Boise State fan this weekend. Let me tell you. Oh, boy, that's very enjoyable. So, basketball's off to a good start. Football got the win. I mentioned that probably have to wait till spring before he wins many conference championships, but who knows? Football looks like they got a chance. They run the table. Basketball, hopefully they can be fun. It was a good weekend overall for the Dogs. Good Monday night. But, season's just getting going for basketball. See what happens. Go Dogs.